It's been a topic that I've kind of wanted to talk about for a little bit. In life, you experience lots of pleasure and tons of pain. Now, pain can be different for a majority of different types of people. Pain and pleasure for you might not be the same for me, but we can still get the same or relevant equal amount of pain and pleasure from different things that we experience. For example, to me, I could ask you, what's your favorite anime? Or you could ask me and I'd be like, oh, Sword Art Online, or Naruto, Yu Yu Hakusho. And then you ask me why, and I explain those things and those feelings that I get from that show. And you could say the same thing about fucking Sailor Moon or any other game, movie, anime, whatever your favorite anime, show, whatever it is, you can say the same thing about it and that it gave you the same feelings. Thus, we've experienced similar, if not the exact equal amount of pleasure from that. If we say, oh, why don't you like a certain thing? And we might dislike a certain thing for the same reasons, but they're two different things. I say that to say some people might experience life and they think, well, what I'm going through isn't that bad. But to somebody else right next to you, it could be the worst thing possible. So I want to get this out the way first by saying be mindful and have sympathy, and not sympathy alone, have empathy. Try to understand what somebody else is going through. I just come across people in my day-to-day working my 9-to-5 job that I work, and people come up to me all the time talking about their past, talking about stuff that they went through, and talking about things that they experienced and why they are the way they are. And it makes me think and reflect on mine and think, why have I had a certain outlook towards life the way that I have it? I don't tend to see my experience as just solely bad. If you listen to my music, which you can find on Spotify, SoundCloud, Apple Music, you hear me talk a lot about my depression. I live with depression now. I was depressed in the past. There's a difference. A lot of my depression came from not having my dad in my life. I'm 21 now, and the first time I really got to have a true conversation with him, I was like 14, 15 years old. Now, I'm sure before that, because I have lots of memories from the time of being like 3 years old, because I don't know how it is for other people because I'm not them, but for me, most of my early childhood memories, the earliest I can remember is when I was 3 years old. 3 years old was when I learned how to write, when I learned how to be ambidextrous because one of my arms was broken, and that was the arm that I originally learned to write with. I learned to draw. I learned to share my emotions. I started singing. I took gaming way more serious. You know, I've had a controller in my hand because my dad was always making me play games, even when I didn't comprehend what I was like actually playing. I digress. I have game sense. I play games. People make fun of me for certain things. It is what it is. That's besides the point. My point is that a lot of my depression and stuff, and a lot of things that are wrong with me today, such as low confidence, low self-esteem, which are two in hand, which came from rejection and not having a true man in the household up until the time I was around 10 years old, really like 9 and some change, but like 10 years old, I was just say to keep it, simple numbers, before I was like introduced to an actual man figure that I like, a father figure I can look up to, which is my stepdad. But a lot of the times it was my older brother. Now, my older brother is probably the one that I'll always say always took the leadership role. Even though I know sometimes he didn't want to take that role. There's times, as you get older, you just want to chill and relax, and you don't want somebody hanging around you. You don't want a little brother right there. But he has a lot of kindness. He has a lot of passion for things that he loves in his heart, and he loves his family. That's one thing I can tell you. He definitely loves his family, but he also suffers from the same thing I suffered from. He suffered from getting separated from his dad. He was at a young age as well. But my mom actually married his dad. My mom was not, our mom wasn't married with my dad. My brother's dad was a little abusive at certain points, and obviously I didn't know him because my older brother is older than me. I wasn't conceived until my dad came in the picture, but I know the stories and they all tell me, my whole family tells me. So my dad was kind of like this white knight figure that came and got my mom into a better life situation, essentially. Well, my mom didn't enjoy that life to the fullest. My dad got into trouble. He ended up getting sent to prison for a long time. As you can tell by the story, that I didn't get a chance to see him for years and years and years of my life. There was years in my life that he sent notes and letters that I never got to see because my mom hid them from me. Was that right of her? No. But what I've learned is to remove myself from the situation and stop being so frustrated at her and stop being so frustrated at him for not being involved, and to understand both sides of the perspective, both sides of their stories, and why they are the way they are towards each other, and just to know that I am me as an individual. I want to have a bond with both of you, even if it's not together. My goal in this video is to let you know that time is very limited, because I can think, and I'm pretty sure anybody watching this can think back and think, wow, it feels like yesterday I was in school doing this. It feels like yesterday I was at my job doing this. It feels like yesterday I just got my first car. It feels like just last year I did this. Like, because a year goes by quick. 365 days. It goes by really quick. So value your time. I have been deceived by lots of people that waste my time. I don't take to that kindly. I personally feel like if you're wasting my time, then that's like the ultimate sin you could do towards me. And if you're not being honest, distruthfulness. I try my hardest to be like just a truthful person, even when I feel like I don't and shouldn't say the truth. God just gave me a good heart to just give the truth out, because it hurts me when somebody lies to me. And it hurts me when somebody lies to lie. To lie and cover up their previous lie, and then you figure out it's just a tangled web of lies. I don't like doing that. So I appreciate anybody that sticks with me. I appreciate anybody that truly supports me. And I have a message to say right here to my pops. I didn't know you growing up like I wish I did, but I'm older now and we can get to know each other now. For anybody out there that's struggling with their own issues with their parents, here's a message that I give to you. Reach out to them. If they're actually in the wrong, then let them be in the wrong. They know that and they have to live with that. You need to make it known to them. But at the end of the day, if you want a relationship with them, you have to just be grown up and reach out and say, I want a relationship with you. You need to let go of certain things that you're holding on me and this other person. You're not involved in that. And this is the same message to you, my own dad. I am not involved with what you have going on with my own mother. You have an issue with her, you tell me and expect me to give it to her. That's not right. What you should do is, I know that she's cut you off. I know that she's made it very difficult for you to communicate. But if you want any type of relationship with my mother, that is for you to go and do, not me to do for you. I'm your son. I am somebody that is here to have a relationship with my dad, to know what a father should be, which my stepdad actually did for me. I always say that my stepdad created a role of a father for me, as well as my older brother. I always think that it's different having a dad and a father. It's very different. Having a dad and having a father is two completely different things that I feel like lots of people don't understand. Your dad is your dad. You're born from him. There's no way around that. A father is somebody that's there to take care of you. A father is somebody that truly goes out of his way for you. A father is somebody that's reaching his hand out, teaching you lessons. And my biological dad he didn't do that. He couldn't do that. It was stripped away from him. So I'm asking you to be a father to me now. Show me what that looks like. If I'm struggling, I don't expect you to do a bunch of things to help me out. But if you want to be a father, I expect you to give me knowledge to help me out. If I'm struggling in money, I expect you to try to help me or to give me knowledge to help me. I expect you to give me lessons to pass on to my potential kids in the future, to help me grow with the family. You know, it doesn't have to be this animosity about picking sides. Like, I'm tired of being in between two sides. You're in a fucking war, I'm not. Your issues are with my mother. Don't drag that into our relationship. I get that you want me to know the whole truth, but I've heard your side of the story many times. I've heard her side of the story many times. What both of you need to understand is that I am your son. I am not the gateway for you to mend your relationship. That's over. She's married. I have a stepdad. If you want to slide in there and try to break that apart and try your hand again, that is for you to reach out for her. I didn't grow up having you in my life to learn what being a man is about from you, but I created my own image of what a man should be from the examples that I did have in my life. And I'll tell you right now that I will go down being a better man than you ever would have hoped to be. And just to be clear, as a son, you should strive to be better and greater than the man that was supposed to be a father to begin with. And that's how it should be. In general, you should grow to be a greater man or woman than your parents. You should be the one bearing them. They shouldn't have to go and bury you. They shouldn't have to always be greater than you. You should learn from them and take that into who you are and make that a part of your character and let it grow and nurture into something even greater. And then you pass it down, and that's how your generation, that's how your lineage gets even stronger. And the chain of your history, the chain of your family gets stronger and stronger. That's how it should be. You should grow to be stronger than the ones that came before you. Because I'm honest with myself, I'm learning to love myself. I'm learning to never give up. I'm learning tons of lessons at a very young age that I'm going to instill in the next generation to come and hopefully inspire many others around the world. If you have an issue, tackle it. Don't keep running from it. I've had an issue of running away from who I truly am for years. I personally have had the biggest issue with dealing with people's acceptance, because I didn't have anybody that was truly accepting me in my life. When I was singing around the house, people told me to shut up. When I was doing this around the house, people told me to be quiet. When I was doing this around the house, people told me I was being too much. If I started to draw, people said, oh, you're copying your uncle. Oh, you're copying your cousin. I started playing games. You just want to be just like him. Why can't anybody acknowledge me for just being me? So I appreciate, this is a message to my friends. I appreciate you for showing me kindness, for showing me anger and you know, when you're agitated with me. I appreciate your honesty. Even if I get upset and frustrated at it, that doesn't change that I appreciate your honesty over everything else. You don't have to feel like you're solely loyal to me to be my friend. I appreciate your honesty, I appreciate your kindness, and I really appreciate your support. So I just want to say thank you to the Lord first and foremost for everything that he's ever done for me. I hope to grow this channel to be a family friendly channel for everybody to come and enjoy life with and to take a load off of their back, because there is a certain reason why I created this channel. There's a certain reason why I let go of a previous channel before, because I didn't like how that was. This is exactly who I am. If I'm awkward and weird and nerdy, that's because that's who I am. If I'm quiet and shy, it's because at my core, I'm antisocial and I don't feel like talking to a whole bunch of people. But I actually do love talking to people at the same time. It's like Kendrick Lamar said, I'm like an antisocial extrovert. I would love to interact and talk with tons of people. I just feel like it's really mentally and physically draining. And that's another trait and quality of just being antisocial and introverted. I appreciate anybody that does support me. I know this video rambles and just went everywhere, but I needed to let it off my chest to say, be who you want to be. Be who you was inspired to be. If somebody inspired you to be a great man, be a great man. If somebody inspired you to be a great nurse, be a great nurse. If somebody inspired you to be a great woman of color, I mean, despite color, creed, nationality, it doesn't matter who you are, what you want to identify. Be who you want to be. Just don't be toxic.